Hey, Washington Commanders fans. An inexplicable decision by our team that could have a devastating opposite effect next season, and why the lack of experience on the offensive coaching staff is leaving me extremely worried. But it doesn't stop there. Let's dive into how the latest move in the NFL coaching market has complicated our search for a defensive coordinator even more, and why we might be losing our top target. And there's more. You will discover which college football pass rusher could be the salvation of our defense in the 2026 draft. Stay tuned until the end, because every detail is crucial for the future of the Commanders. And, of course, don't forget to leave a like. It's just a click, it's quick, and it's all I ask. The Washington Commanders entered the offseason wanting many changes on offense, and that's exactly what happened after the departure of offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. As a fan, I know changes were necessary after such a disappointing season, but some of the decisions being made leave me with a knot in my stomach. Not everything has changed, however, after the promotion of David Blau to offensive coordinator for the first time in his career, which is a risky bet in itself. Next, Blau had to assemble the rest of his coaching staff, which included external hires like DJ Williams as the new quarterbacks coach. The Commanders also needed to find a new offensive line coach after Bobby Johnson's departure, and things got even stranger after the team promoted someone from within again. It's a decision that leaves me confused and worried about the future. The Commanders promoted Darnell Stapleton and Shane Tubbs to the offensive line staff, and that is the decision causing the most controversy. The Commanders promoted a 30-year-old assistant coach to the offensive coordinator position, something unprecedented for him, so it was crucial to build a proper support team. As a fan, I expected them to bring in experience to balance Blau's youth. They hired 2 more young coaches, also in their 30s, for the quarterback's coaching staff, and promoted someone from within for the offensive line. After Johnson's exit, who did a great job last year, they promoted Darnell Stapleton, who was the offensive line assistant last season, and Shane Tubb, who was the offensive quality control coach working with the offensive line. This is a decision, at the very least, confusing and sleepless for me. Why fire the experienced offensive line coach Bobby Johnson, only to promote 2 assistants who worked directly with him? Stapleton was the offensive line coach in college football from 2013 to 2023, but last year was his debut as a coach in the NFL. The lack of experience on the offensive coaching staff is glaring and concerning. This could be a decision that backfires on Quinn disastrously. Quinn has a defensive mindset, so it isn't like he can step in and help if needed on the offensive side. We still don't know if the Commanders will be able to retain veterans Brian Johnson and Anthony Lynn on the coaching staff, but at this moment, that's crucial for us to have any stability and experience. The Commanders will have a new offensive system and a much younger coaching staff working on the offense, and they won't have much margin for error, so the preseason is crucial. Stapleton and Tubb will have the opportunity to gain more experience in the coming days, which will be very useful. As a fan, I hope they prove me wrong in my concerns. Darnell Stapleton and Shane Tubb were appointed to the All-Star coaching staff, which is a positive point. The Senior Bowl and East-West Shrine Bowl are 2 collegiate star events where top prospects for the NFL draft showcase their talents and compete against each other to improve their draft positions. Each year, each event creates a coaching staff for the players with several NFL coaches. Stapleton was selected as the offensive line coach for the national team at the Senior Bowl, and Tubb was selected to be the offensive line coach for the West team at the East-West Shrine Bowl. This will give them, at the very least, opportunities to prepare for their new positions when they start their activities in Washington this offseason. It's a chance to gain valuable experience before the season begins. And now, get ready to understand how the latest coaching market movements have complicated our search. You'll discover why we might be losing our top target for defensive coordinator and what that means for the future of our defense in 2026. The Washington Commanders wasted no time promoting David Blau as the new offensive coordinator, but the search for a new defensive coordinator is taking much longer. As a fan, this delay makes me anxious. As each day that passes, other teams are closing deals with the best available candidates. Coach Dan Quinn finally parted ways with Joe Witt Jr. and now needs to make a crucial hire to keep his job in Washington. Several candidates have been linked to the team, and many of them have been interviewed, but one of the top candidates might not even be available after the latest coaching market movement. The Atlanta Falcons hired Kevin Stefanski as their next head coach, and he may keep Jeff Ulbrich on as defensive coordinator, who was one of the top options for the Commanders. This news was a bucket of cold water on my hopes. Kevin Stefanski will likely keep Jeff Ulbrich, which significantly derails the Commanders' plans. The Commanders' search for a defensive coordinator has been slow, which is understandable, considering the large number of head coaching vacancies to fill and playoff teams still competing. The latest domino to fall may speed up the process. According to John Keim of ESPN, Ulbrich was one of the top targets, if not the top, for the Commanders in their search for a defensive coordinator and could be a key piece that forces them to look for other alternatives. As a fan, I'm frustrated to see that we couldn't close with our main target, and now we'll have to pursue other options that may not be as ideal. This would also mean that Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz would be available, but he's also having a second interview with the team for the head coaching position, and he would be a highly sought-after professional for any team needing a defensive coordinator. The competition for good coaches is fierce. Where the Commanders go from here is the big question. The Commanders have already interviewed several top candidates like Brian Flores, Carl Scott, and Jonathan Gannon, and those are the ones they need to focus on. Of course, Raheem Morris will also be mentioned, but we haven't even heard of an interview with him yet, and the Commanders could miss out on a great opportunity if they wait too long. The best scenario would be to go all in on Flores and show him he's the top candidate, instead of waiting another week for Scott, who is still in the playoffs with the Seattle Seahawks, demolishing the San Francisco 49ers. Gannon seems like a no-brainer hire if offered the position, but there aren't many other options beyond these three that would make a difference in one of the worst defenses in the league. Waiting too long can hurt the Commanders irreparably, and now that Ulbrich has been hired, they need to narrow down their options and go all in on a candidate. Flores may receive an offer to be a head coach, so they need to be aggressive if there's a real chance to bring him to Washington. He has a second interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers soon. And now to wrap up, let's find out which pass rusher could save our defense. You will meet David Bailey from Texas Tech and why he could be exactly what we need to turn our defensive line into a dominant force in the NFL. The Washington Commanders need to bolster pressure on defense this offseason, and this is an absolutely crucial need. Fortunately for us, there are several options at the top of the draft to select a high-quality defensive end or linebacker. With the 7th overall pick, the Commanders could secure a defensive cornerstone for the unit that will serve us for many years. ESPN analyst Jordan Reed suggested that the team would select edge rusher David Bailey from Texas Tech in his first-round draft simulation. As a fan, I get excited just thinking about Bailey chasing opposing quarterbacks and wreaking havoc in the NFC East backfields. Washington has only 2 defensive linemen under contract through next season, and both are recovering from injuries. The Commanders need young pass rushers, and Bailey was the most productive in the country, leading the FBS with 14.5 sacks this season, Reed wrote. These numbers are simply impressive and demonstrate that Bailey is a special player who can make an immediate impact on our defense. He also had 23 tackles for loss, and his pressure rate of 20.1% was the highest among all FBS defenders. Bailey's excellent initial burst helps him get past blockers with ease, and he is a sturdy defender with a diverse repertoire of quarterback pressure moves and powerful hands. Bailey's performance against Oregon in the college football playoff quarterfinals was one of the best I've seen from any defender this season. This gives me even more confidence that he is the right player for us. David Bailey should be on the Commanders' radar without a doubt. Besides Reuben Bain Jr. from Miami, Bailey could be the best pass rusher in the draft. If Bain is available with the 7th overall pick, the team should select him without hesitation. However, there is a strong chance he will be picked by one of the top 6 teams, so we need to be prepared. Bailey is far from a consolation prize, as he could be an excellent pass rusher in the NFL from day one. Bailey had 14.5 sacks and 19.5 tackles for loss in his All-American season with Texas Tech. As a fan, I would love to see Bailey wearing our colors and becoming the centerpiece of our rebuilt defense. The NFL Draft is scheduled to take place from April 20 through to 25 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I can't wait to see who we will select. It's a crucial moment for the future of our franchise, and we hope the front office makes the right decisions to bring us back to the playoffs. Hey there, fan. After hearing about the inexplicable decision to promote Stapleton and Tubes to the offensive line with no NFL experience, the loss of Jeff Ulbrich as the main target for defensive coordinator, and the possibility of us drafting David Bailey, which of these situations worries you the most? Do you believe this young and inexperienced coaching staff has what it takes to lead Jaden Daniels to success? Or are we headed for another season of frustrations? And more importantly, do you trust that Dan Quinn will be able to hire Brian Flores or another elite defensive coordinator before it's too late? Or do you think we've already missed our window of opportunity? Leave your opinion in the comments. I want to know what you think about the future of the Washington Commanders.